There is so much colored clay here. It's ridiculous. What's up everybody? My name is Jim and welcome back to the studio. So on this channel I've done a lot of videos about colored clay, adding color to your clay, and I've shown you a few Nerikomi tutorials. And so I figured it was time to do a more in-depth tutorial, talk about how I do it, and we'll see what we get. What you need are mason stains. I just ordered these, I got a lot. Praseodymium yellow, Victoria green, Alpine rose, Copenhagen or Copen blue, turquoise, have to fire this one, see how it turns out. And Bermuda, orange, and then, lobster red. I have a couple of scrap blocks, but I'm out of Nerikomi blocks. So let's make some. Mason stains can be expensive, so if you want to try this out on your own, maybe start with red iron oxide. It's pretty cheap to get. You can get like 1 or 2 pounds for $5 or $10. Maybe even 2 pounds for $10. Some of these cost $10 for a half a pound, but it's worth it in my opinion. So I have 8% red, 8% blue, 8% orange, 3% black is all you need, 8% yellow. You gotta have your plain porcelain sometimes, right? Let's get Nerikomi-ing. Does that work? For the first one, let's do white, red, black, and blue. So what I've done is form these into blocks of similar dimensions. I should be able to use all these colors interchangeably. Got some old pieces of wood and some new pieces of wood to get the right height. These on top are 1/4 inch. Put that aside. Now I'm going to take off one of these each time I cut. Gives me 1/4 inch each time. Sometimes the boards move, so if you angle them a little bit, it kind of catches the clay. I'm going to flatten this one out to the same size as the red. Now I could reuse these, but just for fun I'm going to throw them in the scrap bag for later. Isn't this beautiful? What I'm going to do, I'm going to stack white, black, and then do some sandwiched blue in between red. So black, white. I'm going to kind of roll these on. Every now and then I'll use a roller. This a little compress. It goes black, white, up into the middle, and I'm going to go white, black. So I end with a symmetrical ending. If any pieces are uneven lengths, you can kind of roll them on and stretch them. The last one. Now what's nice about this pattern is because there's no side to it, this is just sheets. So I could use it this way, or I could use it this way for a larger slab. Should I cut the wider side or the shorter side? Wider side it is. This is the best part of Nerikomi. Are you ready? You ready? Now I'll just skim a little off the top. Woohoo! Now you can see this part right here. That won't be a problem. I'm sure if I go a little further in, that'll be fine. I'm going to throw this out and compress it a little bit, see what we get. Yeah, that's beautiful. All right, one more cut. There we go. Now keep in mind, these colors will fire a lot darker than they look. Time to bag this up. The literal translation of Nerikomi means kneading, as in like kneading dough, wedging clay. And then there's Agateware, which is pretty much the same thing but how England did it back in the day. So check this out. This is the most recent work I've made with the Nerikomi process. Check out that handle. right? You like it? This is one without any designs to kind of show you what I did. This is 1% of red, 4% red, 10% red, and then a little bit you can see of 5% orange. This was plain porcelain with, it was 1% black, this was 5% blue and 1% black. You need about 5% for most colors. So imagine the possibilities with Nerikomi. It's awesome. What I have is 2 pounds of red, 1.5 pounds of yellow, and 1.5 pounds of orange. Now you could just mash clay together for Nerikomi, but it's easier to have slabs, so I'm gonna roll these out into slabs to get things started. If you get any air bubbles like these, make sure you poke them with a needle tool. You can usually roll the air out after that. I'm gonna cut the round parts off of these and then save the scraps for later. I'll usually bag these up as I'm working in case I want more. For this one, we'll do a simple roll up of the yellow, orange, and red. Got some extra. Find a way to use that. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna use an extruder for this one with this cap that I made. I'll show you sometime, maybe a different video, but this is PVC pipe and a cap they sell for that stuff. And this actually fits, I cut it to size to fit perfectly inside my extruder. You can pinch this and smooth it a little bit. It'll blend together later on. I need more than what I have with one piece of red, so I'm just gonna squish this together, make a longer piece. Gonna roll out some scraps. This might not reach all the way. I'm gonna roll it a little bit, just to make sure it makes it around. I'm just compressing the outside of those seams that I made. Remember to save the scraps. If you want to compress these better, you can drop them on an angle to lengthen them, and roll them back and forth to even them out. So now you want to measure 8 inches and 11. Okay, I'm going to stretch this out a little bit so I can get 12. On second thought, I'm going to make these blocky. It's time to stack them now. Make sure you pinch those creases together, otherwise your Nerikomi can separate. Usually I will smooth out the front of it to help link all of it together. Woohoo! Beautiful. Oh, look at that grid from the yellow. That's awesome. If you're gonna use this, just make sure you give it 1 day in a bag. I always reuse my old clay bags. They are great for this. So I have all these scraps. I'm gonna wedge them all together, and I will get a block of scrap, hopefully super awesome marbled clay. So I'll wedge in this direction, I'll rotate, wedge in this direction. You don't want to wedge too much. Wedging too much makes it all the same color. It almost looks like galaxies. Look at how tightly packed that pattern is. You're gonna have black, white, bright red, orange, yellow, blue. You might get a different result on this side of the block or this side of the block. That's why it's so awesome. I am loving this. All right, so what do you think? You prefer this block? This one? Oh my gosh. Or this one? I'm thinking this one. So you have your rolled up coiled approach. You have your layered stacked approach. You could do a little bit of both if you wanted to. You could have more complicated extruder dies if you wanted to. And then there's always the marbled scrap approach, which I think is awesome. That's everything. Hope you liked this video. Let me know what you think. We are approaching 500 subscribers soon. Might have a giveaway? Anyways, it's always awesome to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think. I will see you in the next video.